Hi guys, welcome to Heart to Heart. I am Bernadette Jones, and I want to speak with you guys today. The scripture is going to be out of Mark 11:22 and 23. And as I was preparing and just kind of talking to God on what to share, one thing He spoke to me this morning was He said, "Stop climbing the mountain when Jesus told you to speak to it." Because I see, and I've heard a lot of people say that, the mountains in front of you, climb them, and, these people who are Christians, and they say you deal with the mountains and you climb them and you go around them. And Jesus specifically says in His Word, well, actually, I'm going to just go ahead and read you the scripture and then we'll talk about it. So Mark 11:22 and 23, and it reads, "And Jesus answered and said to them, have faith in God. For assuredly I say to you, whoever says to this mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea, and does not doubt in his heart, but believes that those things he says will be done, he will have whatever he says." So Jesus here is telling his disciples, first of all, have faith in God. That's first and foremost. That's where your faith needs to be, not in your circumstance, not in yourself. Completely, your faith needs to be 100% in God. And when your faith is 100% in God, He says, if you will say to the mountain, not climb it, not talk about it, not go around it, not look at it, but say to the mountain, whatever that thing that is in your way, because a mountain is designed to be in your way. It's designed to slow you down. It's designed to stop you. It says, speak to it. Speak to it and tell it to go into the sea. And if you think about how big the ocean is, it's going to be completely covered with no evidence of it. And that's why many of you are tired, because you hear some people say, oh my gosh, I don't have any energy, I'm so tired, I'm just frustrated, because you're trying to climb your mountain, you're trying to go around it rather than speaking to it and moving it to get to the other side. And that seems like a foreign concept, like how do you speak to a mountain, or something that is an inanimate object. You talk to inanimate objects all the time. You talk to your car when it's not acting right. You talk to just stuff around the house, just without even thinking it. You talk to things all the time. You talk to your phone when it starts acting wrong. You'd be like, nope, no, not today, not today, not today. Anything that starts to act up, you will actually talk to it. And for some reason, we don't talk to the things that can be removed and dealt with in our lives. We try to face them head on or deal with them in our own way, and that's not how God tells us to deal with it. So we have this unnecessary stress and this unnecessary stuff that we're going through and we're dealing with, and that's completely unnecessary. And then we're asking God to help us, but He gave you the solution in His Word of how to deal with that. So He's not going to tell you to do something completely opposite of what He's already said to do in His Word, of what He has already said how to handle it. He said, speak to it. That's all you have to do. And as believers, for some reason, we have a problem with that. Because, before, and you see this a lot in movies, many of us, before our Christian days, before we came to know Christ, you could tell a person where to go without hesitation. In anger, frustration, was no problem. And we see it in movies all the time. A character will tell an enemy or someone who opposes them where they can go. Why can't you tell your mountains where they can go? You have the authority to do that, and it is in your voice. If you will say it and believe what you are saying and have faith in God. One thing, my pastor, Pastor Mark Hankins, says, he says, if you knew what was on the other side of the mountain, you'd move it. If you knew what was on the other side of that mountain, you would move it. Stop trying to figure it out. Stop trying to be logical and think about it, and stop blaming God for mountains. He does not cause them. If He caused them, why would He tell you how to remove them? That doesn't make any sense. He's not going to put something in your way and then be like, okay, this is how you remove it. No. The enemy will cause stuff to come up in your way. And Jesus gives you the solution on how to remove it. And the very first thing he says is have faith in God. You have to have faith in God. Believe what he says. Not just believe in him, but believe him. Have faith in him completely. And he says, whosoever. This is for whosoever. Whoever says. It's not just, oh, well, that's the pastor. Oh, that's just because they're a ministry leader. Or, oh, that's because they're in this position. Or, oh, that's for them. That's not for me. No, this is for whosoever. This is for anybody. Anybody who will have faith in God. Anyone who will believe. And anyone who will say. Anyone who will say to their mountain, be removed and be cast into the sea. And one thing my pastor touched on this actually on Sunday in his message is that we look at stuff like bills will come in the mail and we won't address them. We won't look at them. We'll avoid them thinking that's going to make things better. But he said, you will say, I can't pay that. And you can't pay it. Because that is what you said. Rather than when that stuff comes saying, I can pay this. I'm a giver. I'm abundantly supplied for. Because that's what the word says about you. When you're a tither, the word says in Malachi chapter 3 that he will open the windows of heaven. He will open the windows of heaven. It also says that when you give, it will be given back to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, running over. If you're a generous giver, you can expect a generous harvest. So when those mountains come, that is what you say. You say what the word says and you fight it. And some mountains are going to be a little stubborn. So you're going to have to say it and say it and say it. Just like you have to talk to your kids sometimes, more than once, to get them to do something. Because they'll be hard-headed sometimes. You say it, and you say it in faith, and you don't back down. I don't care what circumstances look like. You stand your ground. And you tell, you command, use your authority that God has given you, and tell your mountains to go. Stop trying to climb them. Stop talking about them. Stop trying to figure them out. Stop blaming them on God. Stop trying to go around them. Tell them to move out of your way and go and get everything that God has for you. Because those mountains are not from God. They're not a test. They're not designed to help you grow. They're not going to help you grow in your faith. They are designed to discourage you. And they are a device of Satan. He will use them to discourage you, to slow you down, and to take your eyes off of God's promises. So stop trying to climb your mountains and start talking to your mountains. Use your voice. Say what the word says, and those mountains will be removed and will be cast into the sea. There will be no evidence that they ever existed. So thank you guys for joining us for this heart to heart. If this was encouraging to you, I encourage you guys to share this video, like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you get notifications for the next video, and we will see you guys next time. Have a blessed one.